So it's super sad. Our 2020 sprint car season has officially come to an end, but we are ready to rebuild, reassemble, and get ready for 2021. Hey everybody, welcome back to today's video. If you guys are new to my YouTube channel, my name is Tanner Holmes and I'm a 17-year-old outlaw kart and sprint car driver from here in Southern Oregon. And more importantly, I just absolutely enjoy racing, and I also love bringing you guys along with me for the ride by documenting it and putting it here on the YouTube channel. But today here on the YouTube channel, we are going to be recapping my 2020 sprint car season. We are going to be looking at some really cool stats that include the different tracks we ran at, different states we competed in, and then also we're going to be answering a few questions because I know you guys are going to have some questions about what my favorite racetrack was, what were some of the cool moments that we had, and then we're going to cap it off by reliving some of my highlighted moments of 2020, and we are going to be talking about why they are so special to me. But before we get into all of that, I need your guys' help with something real quick. Head on down to the comment section down below and wish my mom a very happy birthday. November 18th is my mom's birthday, and I'm just so grateful to have her in my life. She has really made me the person that I am today. And a lot of you guys don't see it, but she is like the other half of our brand. She helps run my website. She helps deal with all of my merchandise, the shipping, the packaging, dealing with the customer service. She also gives me a ton of advice and is just there for me with all of my professional relationships. And on a crazier note, she does this while working 6 days a week and even 7 days a week if we aren't racing on Saturdays. So she is just insane. She is the hardest working person I know, and like I said, I'm so grateful that I've had her in my life to really shape me and who I am today. Now though, it is time to get into today's YouTube video and recap our 2020 sprint car season. And 2020 in general, like we've said over and over again, was just, there's not even a great word to describe the whole year. We didn't start racing until June, and once our sprint car season got underway, we were actually super busy because we were able to run Thursday night at the Skagit Speedway, and we were able to run Saturday at Cycleland. So we could do one sprint car race and one outlaw kart race per week. So that made for a busy schedule throughout June, but once July rolled around, a few more places were opening up and more races were starting to get announced, so we started traveling. So I made a list of all the different racetracks that we went to throughout 2020, and it came out to 13 different tracks in 8 different states, and 10 of these racetracks were new to me. So I got a list here and I just want to read it off to you. So first off, in Washington, we competed at the Skagit Speedway. Then in the state of Oregon, we ran at the Coos Bay Speedway and Cottage Grove Speedway. Obviously, those first 3 I had ran at before. Now on to all the new tracks. So in the state of Montana, we ran at the Big Sky Speedway, that's in Billings, and then the Electric City Speedway in Great Falls, Montana. Then on our trip back to ASCS Sprint Week, we made a stop in Wyoming at the Sweetwater Speedway. Then we had 3 new tracks in Kansas, the Lakeside Speedway, Caney Valley, and 81 Speedway. And then for the first time in my whole life, I actually was in the state of Oklahoma racing at Creek County. Then we went to Arkansas, tons of awesome people in Arkansas, and we competed there at the I-30 Speedway and Diamond Park Speedway as well. And then to cap it off, the final new track and new state that I had been to was the Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, Missouri. So 13 different racetracks, 10 new tracks to me in 8 different states total. And I think that was one of our biggest challenges throughout the year, was going to new racetracks. And at the moment, it didn't even feel like a challenge, but obviously looking back, it definitely was. And what I mean by that is we just got used to going to new racetracks. Like when we left for the Midwest and ran those 8 races in 10 days, we were literally going to 7 different racetracks that we had never been to. So you kind of just get used to like, all right, we're just gonna figure this place out tonight, and then we move on to the next one, and you try to figure it out, and you watch videos and you prepare yourself. But once you get out there, you just kind of get in race mode and figure it out on your own as quick as possible. And sometimes we did a better job than others, but that's just part of being a young racer trying to live the dream and try to figure it out. So now on to some of our stats for the year. We had 4 wins, 2 in our 360 sprint car, the first 2 of my career, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later in the video. And then we had 2 wins also in our limited. We had 11 top 5s, 17 top 10s, and 27 starts. Now out of those 27 starts, 22 of those were in the 360 sprint car, and the other 5 were in our limited. Now, like I talked about a ton throughout the videos, during the summertime and into fall, we really were focusing on our 360 as much as possible. That's what we mainly wanted to race. And then if we had a weekend where we weren't able to travel or there wasn't any racing going on, then we filled it in with the limited. So with us racing at a bunch of different tracks throughout the season, the question was obviously going to be asked, Tanner, what was your favorite racetrack that you got to go to? And I don't think I can narrow it down to just one, but I could narrow it down to three. And obviously these racetracks are going to be a place that I had good results on, because usually when you go somewhere and you run in the back, you don't end up liking the place, when really it's not a fair assessment because you could have just had a bad night or something went wrong. But my top three favorite tracks that I really want to go back to, and I genuinely just had fun inside the race car, like they were unique places and they were really, really racy. The first one being the Electric City Speedway in Great Falls, Montana. The second one was the Lakeside Speedway in Kansas City, Kansas. Lakeside was one of the biggest tracks that I got the opportunity to go on throughout 2020, and man, the place was fast. It was racy, and it was just a blast to turn laps around. That was our first night of the American Sprint Car Series Speed Week. We started 10th and ran 7th in a green to checkered A-main event. So you couldn't ask for a much better surface than they gave us there at Lakeside, and I really want to get back there one day. And then the third track that I enjoyed competing at was the 81 Speedway in Park City, Kansas. That was our third night of ASCS Sprint Week, and we actually ran in the top 5. And that place was just really cool. It was super smooth. It started out pretty hooked up during the night, but it slowly slickened off a little bit, and then by the time the A-main event rolled around, it was super, super wide. It was pretty much on the fence at one end, and then down in 1 and 2, it was just a little bit off, but still, like I said, super wide in 2 definitive grooves. And the last question that I've been getting asked over social media and in the comment section down below recently was, what was the nicest facility? Now, no doubt, no competition at all in this area. The Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, Missouri is probably hands down one of the nicest racetracks in the United States. And I'm saying that place could go up against almost like a NASCAR facility. It was just so nice, and there's a reason why they call it the Diamond of Dirt Tracks. Now, besides that place, I also wrote down Lakeside, because Lakeside had an unbelievable facility, but just nowhere near what Lucas Oil had. I mean, that place was just unbelievable, and I'm so glad that I got to experience it. So now we want to get into some highlights from our 2020 season and relive some of the best moments that we had. So the first moment is one that actually happened recently, and you guys have been just absolutely loving it, and you want to see more of it in 2021, and that was Carly getting behind the wheel of the sprint car. If you're unfamiliar with who Carly is, she is my 14-year-old younger sister, and she is an absolute wheelman, or say maybe wheel woman. I don't know what the terminology would be there, but she is just an absolute gasser. Here is some of the footage from her first laps on the racetrack. Now my next moment is one of those like, oh so close, like we were so close to grabbing a victory. This was before I had won my first 360 race, and it was at the Sweetwater Speedway there in Wyoming. Now I started on the pole and I made some mistakes early, dropped back to 4th, but then all of a sudden put on a late race charge towards the lead. Pretty much coming to the white flag, I'm right behind this white number 1 car, and he's leading the race, and he's kind of not like slowing up, but he's just definitely being conservative in traffic to not miss his marks. And I was just going balls to the wall, trying to catch him and chase him down into the final corner, and you guys will see we almost have a photo finish coming to the checkered. Now this next moment is one I just mentioned a few minutes ago during the episode, and that was our top 5 finish at the 81 Speedway during ASCS Sprint Week. Now this was obviously just really, really cool because we started 8th and then we were able to advance a few spots, and you look at the names ahead of us and you're like, man, we are literally racing with some of the best 360 competition in the United States and just ran inside the top 5 at a track we had never been to before. So we got 2 highlights to go. This next one comes from when we competed at the Hockett-McMillan Memorial in Wheatland, Missouri. It was night number 2 of the event, and I ran all right in my heat race, so I started on the front row of a qualifier. And our qualifier was like absolutely stacked. I had Tim Crawley, Harley White, Sam Haferteep Jr., Shane Stewart, Devin Borden. I believe Tyler Thomas was also in there, but pretty much all it would have taken is a few mistakes, and I could have definitely dropped through the field, but we got a good start. I was able to cross over Tim Crawley down the back straightaway on the first lap, slide him into turns 3 and 4, and run away with the qualifier win with the American Sprint Car Series.
Crawley going to race it up the racetrack down to the back straightaway. He will have the lead. Holmes coming after him though on the inside as they work into turns 3 and 4. The 18T drops to the deck, slides to the lip as they work up at turn number 4. Can he lead lap number 1? He will. Shane Stewart up over the cushion. Looked like he had a one-way ticket to the concrete. He saves it though. A good save by the Bixby, Oklahoma driver as they go back up to the battle for the lead. Now the battle for second. Sam Haferteep Jr. works to the inside of the 1X of Tim Crawley. Able to make the pass on him. Crawley tries to come back after him. Not enough momentum off of the 4th turn though. Everybody rolls to the cushion. Harley White right there, rounding out your top 4, rounding out your top 5. It's going to be the 91T of Tyler Thomas, done early in your qualifier. White flag displayed. Your leader to the back straightaway for the final time into 3 and off at turn number 4. The checkered flag is out for the Oregon driver. Tanner Holmes with the win in 18. Sam Haferteep.
So now the final moment, you guys probably could have guessed this, but when we won 2 races in 4 days for my first 2 360 sprint car wins of my career. The first win takes place at the Skagit Speedway in Alger, Washington, and the second one takes place at the Electric City Speedway in Great Falls, Montana.
In 5th, it is still Colby Thornhill. White flag is out. One more trip around the park for the 18T of Tanner Holmes. In a matter of 5 races, he has 3 main event wins. Tanner Holmes out of Jacksonville, Oregon will win it. Tyler Thompson is going to finish in 2nd. 3rd is going to be Chance Crum. 4th, JJ Hickle. And your top 5 at the line, Colby Thornhill beats out Jason Solwall. As Tanner Holmes out of the race car and celebrating on the front stretch, doing the wing dance.
So that was our final moment. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me recapping our 2020 sprint car season. If you guys are ready for 2021, let me know in the comment section down below because I'm ready to get after it. It's gonna be a really, really fun season, and it all starts right now as we're kind of in the process of building up the team for 2021 and getting all the necessary parts and everything that we're gonna need for the year. Now, one of the things you guys might have noticed throughout this video is the hat that I'm wearing. We got some new hats in, so if you guys want an all black TH18T hat, head on over to www.tannerholmes.com/shop. But we will see you guys all in the next video. I'm gonna be continuing to bring you guys exciting and intense content to finish off the year and into 2021. See you guys all there. Deuces.